buses for nonprofit organizations. This is really, as I mentioned, an incredible opportunity for us to thank those organizations that do so much in our community to make it the wonderful place to live, work, and play that it is.
We love to partner with our not-for-profit organizations, especially in these tougher economic times. Government can't do it all, the private sector can't do it all, and our not-for-profits do so much for our community in so many different capacities, and to give the organizations that have smaller budgets and don't have the ability to advertise as much as some of the bigger organizations do, the opportunity to have the visibility on one of the Lynx buses.
I'm really happy to congratulate the organizations that are going to have the honor and joy of being on the bus this year, and I hope that it's going to do for your organization what it did for our organization this year, and hopefully we'll be back again next year.
Well, we're out at another great community event being supported by 95.3, Color Wheel and Braven Painting. We're repainting the downtown rec center today.
Color Wheel is proud to be out here in the community. We were founded in Orlando in 1960, and so we're here at the Downtown Rec Center today to repaint, refresh, and re-inspire Orlando.
We're painting up the Downtown Rec Center. We're calling it Refresh Orlando. Color Wheel Paint donated all the paint, and Braven Painting donated all the professional services. So what the volunteers are doing today is painting the lower portions of the building and a lot of the trim, and then Braven will return on Monday to finish the job, and we'll have a fresh new rec center.
What we did is we prepped all the building, and when this day finish on Monday and on, we're gonna just finish the building.
Yeah, basically we're donating the paint, the roller covers, brushes, and some volunteers from Color Wheel to help out.
I'm here with Lake Howell Junior Civitan, and we are a volunteer organization within our school. We help out in our local community, and today we're helping Refresh Orlando paint the rec center, and we're here with all of our members.
This is my first time doing this type of event, and I'm really excited about doing it. As you can tell by all the paint that I have all over me, that I'm really excited about participating in this event and just giving back to the community.
Well, we're raking up the leaves to clean up the area, as well as to use the leaves as compost and other things that the city does with the mulch that they get from this.
The challenges I've had with painting out here is that, I'm 6'2", so, everyone wants me to go ahead and reach the high parts. There's a lot more
Please welcome our mayor, Buddy Dyer.
Good afternoon and welcome to the June 18th, 2012 regularly scheduled meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation offered today by Rabbi Stephen Engel, who currently serves as the senior rabbi of the Congregation of Reform Judaism. As the rabbi of Central Florida's largest Reformed Jewish congregation, he's actively involved outside of the CRJ in the Jewish and secular communities as well. Rabbi Engel received a BA in Physics from Rutgers, a Master's of Arts in Hebrew Letters from the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion in L.A., and his rabbinic ordination, I practiced that, by the way, rabbinic, ordination from the Hebrew Union College in Cincinnati. There's great diversity there between Cincinnati, L.A., and Rutgers. After ordination, he served as associate rabbi at Temple Israel in Columbus, Ohio, and then became the leader of Mississippi's largest Jewish congregation. Rabbi Engel has served as an adjunct professor of religion and has held leadership positions with rabbinic organizations, including serving as president of the Greater Orlando Board of Rabbis. He is presently the co-creator and one of the three wise guys, along with his friends Reverend Brian Fullwinder and Imam Mohammed Masri, on Friends Talking Faith, a one-hour program airing on public radio where the guys speak in interesting ways about religion in today's world. The invocation will be followed by the pledge today, led by our newest commissioner, Jim Gray, District 1. If you'll all please stand.
As a proud citizen of Orlando, I am grateful for the opportunity to address you and to share a teaching and a moment of prayer with the City Council on this 18th day of June. Just a few things about the 18th day of June that you may not know. It's a very well-known day in history. In 1873, Susan B. Anthony was fined $100 for voting for president. In 1903, the first transcontinental auto trip occurred from San Francisco to New York. That took 3 months. In 1928, Amelia Earhart was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean on an airplane. In 1942, the U.S. Navy commissioned its first black officer, Harvard University medical student Bernard Whitfield Robinson. And finally, some of us may remember this because we are old enough, that in 1972, newspapers around the country, including the Washington Post on June 18th, broke a story about a burglary in a Washington hotel called the Watergate. Every day is a new opportunity to make history and to make a difference. All of our religious traditions teach us that when God made the world, God finished the world, but the world was not finished. For it is up to us, each of us here today, you and I, to finish the creation of the world and to complete God's creation. To make Orlando a city beautiful, not only physically, but a city beautiful economically, a city beautiful socially and racially, a city beautiful with uncompromising compassion and respect, a city beautiful where every citizen is counted and respected. And I know that this task is difficult. I know that all of us here know that roadblocks are many, obstacles are high, and naysayers are many. On June 18th, it was Winston Churchill on this same day who gave a famous speech where he said the following: "Let us therefore embrace ourselves to our duties, and so bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, 'This was our finest hour.'" Years, decades, and centuries from now, it will not matter how many votes we won. We will not remember the deals we made, and it will not matter how wrong or right that we were. The only question will be, during this moment, did the council, the Orlando City Council, take the gift that God gave us to complete the world and make it their finest hour? And I hope we all are able to do that. So with that said, I would like to offer a prayer for each of you and for all of us and our city to be our finest hour. O God, creative spirit of the universe, inspire us to draw upon this day the potential that you have placed within each and every one of us. Bless our speech that we may speak words of understanding and compassion. Bless the work of our hands so that our actions may bring justice and right. Inspire us to work to bring goodness and wholeness to a city and world that so desperately needs it. Remind us, O God, that every human being is created in your image so that we will see something divine in each and every citizen of Orlando and thus continue to serve all of the people of our city. May we strive to make the fruits of our labor sweet indeed, so that we will labor for the sake of heaven, so that our voices and our deeds will be inscribed upon the tablets of our hearts by the finger of God. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rabbi, and I appreciate the preparation time that it took. Madam Clerk, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and will you call the roll and make a determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Here.
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan?
Here.
Commissioner Lineham?
Here.
Commissioner Ings?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's take up for consideration the minutes from the June 4th, 2012 workshop agenda review and regular city council.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lineham, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Let's move right into awards and recognitions. First up is Debbie, our wellness coordinator, to make some introductory comments about the city's wellness program and then to talk about an award that we're receiving. Debbie.
Good afternoon. The City of Orlando's wellness program, Wellness Works, is focused on helping employees lead healthier lives. Wellness programs help promote a healthy workforce. 87% of all Americans want to improve their health and fitness and their overall balance in their lives. The need for this is reflected in national employer statistics, which show for every 100 employees, 60 or more are overweight or obese, 12 or more have heart disease, and 7 or more have diabetes. The city's wellness infrastructure is comprised of one of the oldest local government programs in existence, at over 30 years old. We are fortunate to have strong senior leadership support from Mayor Dyer, City Council members, our CIO Byron Brooks, and Deputy CIO Deborah Girard. We have wellness facilities, funding provided by a healthcare provider, and we have a group of wellness champions, which are representatives from each of the different departments that represent our diverse employees. They communicate information to those programs and areas, and they also bring information back and help implement those programs. I'd like to recognize them. If you could please stand, all our wellness champions. Thank you very much. They do a lot of hard work for us. We have behavior modification and education in the form of weight management classes, wellness seminars, nutrition classes, and healthy cooking, and smoking cessation. An example of one of our weight management classes in the past few years, this is one of our over 700 employees who has participated in a cumulative weight loss of over 5,500 pounds. We host wellness seminars on a variety of topics to help educate our employees to make better decisions. We try to help keep our employees out of the fast food lane by introducing nutrition classes and healthy cooking. The smoking cessation national average for success is 32%. We have been fortunate this past year to have a 64% success rate. Thank you. We host fitness classes in the variety as well as corporate 5K team, an annual employee fitness challenge, and discounted personal training that is 100% employee paid. This is an example of one of our fitness classes led by our volunteer Taekwondo instructor. Our corporate 5K team this year was our largest at over 200, including council members, our youngest future walkers, and senior leaders. We have our annual employee fitness challenge, which gives our employees an opportunity to pull together to work towards a common goal. For some, it's an opportunity to reach for their personal best, and for some, it's a chance just to get started. It gives an opportunity to try new things that they may not have, as over 500 employees participated in 35 different events. 91% said that it helped improve their workplace relationships, and 92% said that it helped them be more active. Our on-site screening and prevention services include annual mobile mammograms, which are covered by insurance, and our participants said that 70% of them would not have gotten their mammogram if it was not brought on-site for them. Our biometrics this year were offered at our men's and women's health seminars, and those services were donated by Florida Hospital. Our 2011 blood drives, according to the Blood Center, saved 411 lives. We had 864 employees participate in our flu shots, and we offer discounted massage therapy that is 100% employee paid. We've been fortunate as the City of Orlando to be recognized by Get Active Orlando, earning the inaugural Gold Healthy Workplace Award in 2010, and the Legacy Health Workplace Award in 2011. And this means that the city earned a higher overall score than any other workplace that they were against. And this year, the American Heart Association is here for the Fit Friendly Gold Company Award that we have earned in 2010, 2011, and soon 2012. So at this time, I'd like to turn over the mic to Luann Lumpkins, Metro Vice President of the American Heart Association.
Thank you, Deb. It gives me great pleasure to be here today to be able to present this award, because what you're doing is setting the example of building healthier lives free of cardiovascular disease and stroke. And as most of you know, heart disease is the #1 killer. So it is my honor to present the mayor with this award. And congratulations.
There you go. Come on.
You can't be seen.
There you go.
All right, next we're going to be recognizing the National Summer Learning Day, and I want to call on Rodney Williams, our Recreation Division Manager, to start the proceedings.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. It is my pleasure to inform you about the 6th Annual National Summer Learning Day, which will be nationally recognized on Thursday, June 21st, 2012. This event is sponsored by the National Summer Learning Association. 100 years of research confirms that all students experience summer learning loss. At times, summer vacations result in 3 months of holiday from constructive learning activities and valuable opportunities to participate, to practice the skills they need to be successful in school and in life. Summer Learning Day is a time for communities to celebrate the importance of high-quality continuing education opportunities provided to youth throughout the summer months. We will highlight a few of the programs offered by the Families, Parks and Recreation Department for you today to raise awareness about how our programs send young people back to school ready to learn, supporting working families, and help keep our children safe and productive. The Recreation Division participates in Orlando Cares through Buddy's Book Club to improve literacy for youth in grades 5 through 8. Children are provided homework time in the computer labs as part of their rotation plan during the after-school program. Some centers provide additional tutoring for students who have lower reading levels. We provide a safe and healthy environment to over 2,000 children each summer at 15 community centers citywide. Additional programming will be added to our summer and after-school programs, which will be introduced later by Dr. Bridget Williams, Associate Superintendent of Orange County Public Schools. I would also like you to hear from Tyler Chandler, Executive Director of the Orlando After School All-Stars, and Brenda March, Children and Education Manager for the Paramore Kids Zone, to share their efforts to help prevent summer learning loss.
Good afternoon. As many of you know, 3 years ago, After School All-Stars shifted its programming focus from a primarily recreation-based model to a comprehensive intervention and prevention program. This new learning model incorporates academics, enrichment, athletics, and service learning. However, in order to create a year-round continuum of education, a significant portion of our summer program model had to be changed. While the afternoon still focuses on enrichment and athletic activities, the entire morning component is now academic-based. This academic component provides for innovative programming that seeks to close the achievement gap for our at-risk students while engaging both students and teachers to make the summer months a critical factor in educational reform. This summer, our programs will provide services to over 900 middle school students throughout the city. The morning program now includes daily instruction for 1 hour each of language arts, STEM activities, and character education. Classes are taught by certified teachers, are project-based, and focused on experiential learning. All curriculum activities are tailored to the need of each individual middle school site and are designed with the assistance of that school's OCPS administration. There are specialized programs for students with educational handicaps and virtual school opportunities for our accelerated students. Our incoming and outgoing 8th grade students participate in a high school transition piece that includes instruction in academics, study skills, and high school requirements. This course actually concludes with a 1-week college immersion program. In addition, this summer, we are excited to announce a new partnership and a new program that we are piloting with the University of Central Florida's Department of Writing and Rhetoric. Since beginning these programs, we have seen dramatic gains in all academic areas. Last year, all of our students completed their OCPS assigned summer reading requirements, and OCPS testing showed that 71% of our students displayed increases in math and science proficiency at the end of the summer. And in our most significant change, we saw 83% of our students improve their reading proficiency and comprehension at the end of the summer. As we begin another summer, I am confident in the long-term success of this initiative and that the City of Orlando will continue to be at the forefront of providing these critical programs to some of our youngest and most at-risk citizens. And now to tell you a little bit about the Paramore Kids Zone summer program, learning programs, please welcome Brenda March.
Thanks, Tyler. The Recreation Division and the Orlando After School All-Stars work primarily with elementary and middle school students to prevent summer learning loss at city recreation centers and at schools. Paramore Kids Zone's evidence-based model offers a wide range of positive programming at all stages from cradle to career. Studies show that out-of-school time is dangerous time for unsupervised children and teens. They are more likely to use alcohol, drugs, tobacco, engage in criminal and other high-risk behaviors, receive poor grades, and drop out of school than those who have the opportunity to benefit from constructive activities supervised by responsible adults. Paramore Kids Zone, along with partnering agencies, will address summer learning loss by implementing the following initiatives in the zone. We call Paramore Kids Zone, for short, the zone. Its home base is at the Downtown Rec Center. We will offer book review, activities and oral discussions about the book Among the Hidden, food review, after healthy cooking course with healthy nutrition consultants, tutoring for Algebra 1 and geometry, addressing end-of-course exams, that is project-based, which is now required by Orange County Public Schools, college tour visits to UCF and USF. We've already been to all the Atlanta schools, and we also went to Mississippi as well as Alabama. Educational activities. Are you the smartest kid in the zone? Students practice for this contest being held on June 28th at the Dr. J.B. Callahan Neighborhood Center while preparing for the SAT. I have with me New Image Youth Center. Shantae Barton-Stubbs is joining me today. She's partnered with Florida Hospital internship program, providing youth with a 1.5-hour block of reading skills and a 1.5-hour block of math skills twice a week for a total of 6 hours a week. And those students needing additional assistance will receive one-on-one help. Nap Forward Community School is working with students in both small groups and individual tutoring, 4 days per week, 2 to 3 hours each session for 4 weeks. Kids will receive tutoring and reading and or math instruction. Harvest Baptist Academy. Students are engaged daily in remedial math and reading strategies. Educational games are played to reinforce math and reading comprehension as well as critical thinking skills. Page 15 offers Young Writers Summer Camp and Slam Poetry Camp to improve literacy, encourage creative expression, inspiring lifelong passion for language arts. British Independence. Enrichment, reading and math program, 45 minutes per day per age group. Mayor's Matching Grants, ECHO program, exploring culture and humanities opportunities, which consist of reading, writing, and public speaking on Wednesdays. UCF Reading Camp. College of Education offers extensive reading program pairing master level students with students, school-age students in small group setting for 90 minutes, customized to each child's specific needs. UCF Digital U teaches youth the art of digital storytelling, video making, editing, and music production using the latest computer technology. As you can see, Paramore Kids Zone is addressing summer learning loss prevention using a community-based collaborative model. Without further ado, Dr. Bridget Williams, Associate Superintendent for Orange County Public Schools, is here today to share some exciting news about an out-of-the-box new initiative we are collaborating with the school district thanks to Superintendent Dr. Barbara Jenkins. Dr. Williams.
Good afternoon, Mayor Buddy Dyer, City Commissioners. I am Bridget Williams, the Associate Superintendent with Orange County Public Schools. And I am extremely excited about a partnership between the City of Orlando's Families, Parks, and Recreation Department and Orange County Public Schools. A partnership that will assist in getting our future, our kids ready and eager to learn, and in turn will better prepare our students to be lifelong learners. Orange County Public Schools is offering summer camp at every Title I elementary school in Orange County for students in kindergarten, first, and second grade. The students have been invited to attend the summer school camp. There are kids that are struggling, our level 1 and our level 2 students. The goal of the camp is to ensure that our future, our kids, are reading on grade level by third grade. However, a number of students that have been invited to attend the summer camp, they're not there, they're not present, they're not with us. They're with you all, they're at the rec centers. This partnership will allow Orange County Public Schools to reach out and provide academic services to our neediest students at 6 centers this summer. The centers are the Dr. Smith Center, the Callahan Center, the Jackson Center, the Northwest Center, Rosemont Center, and Hankins Park. These pilot sites were selected because they are located near our most fragile schools that have kids that are struggling. They're struggling. And our goal is to make sure our kids are reading on grade level by the time they're in third grade. Orange County Public Schools will place 2 certified teachers at each site. The teachers will work with the students at the sites during the reading block that each center already has in place. However, this summer, Orange County Public Schools Curriculum Department, the Title I Department, and the City of Orlando collaborated and worked together to restructure the reading block to ensure that each student receives targeted instruction from a certified teacher and access to My Own Reader, a reading program that matches student interests and reading level with content to personalized learning. It provides the teacher and will provide the counselors at the centers with data that can forecast each student's reading growth using assessments that are embedded within My Own Reader. In addition, Envision Math, which is a series that we're already utilizing, will also be used by the teachers. Lisa and Brenda have agreed to allow the curriculum and the Title I staff with Orange County Public Schools to train the staffs at the rec centers on how to utilize My Own Reader. The summer camp ends July 18th. However, we all would like for our students to continue reading throughout the summer. We will be able to generate a report that shows how many books are read at each site and the reading growth of every student. However, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of a wonderful collaboration that will expand and grow. We are excited about this partnership because it takes a village. The kids that we need to reach are at your centers during the summer, and together as partners, we can really make a difference in the lives of our future, our kids. Thank you.
I have a proclamation from the City of Orlando, whereas a wide array of public agencies, not-for-profit organizations, schools, universities, museums, libraries, and summer camps across the country will celebrate annual Summer Learning Day in June 2012, and whereas this will be a day to reflect on the importance of high-quality summer learning opportunities in the lives of young people and their families, and whereas Summer Learning Day is designed to highlight the need for more young people to be engaged in learning activities over the summer, and whereas summer learning programs have been proven to have a meaningful impact on the education, health, and safety of children, and whereas the City of Orlando is proud to join the National Summer Learning Association and our national partners in promoting learning activities for our young people. Now, therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, hereby do proclaim Monday, June 18, 2012, as Summer Learning Day in the City of Orlando. June is Caribbean American Heritage Month in the City of Orlando, and I'm going to call on Commissioner Samuel B. Ings to make some introductions as we celebrate Caribbean American Heritage Month.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, Council, and all assembled here today. It is my pleasure to introduce the next item on the agenda as we acknowledge the vast contributions of our fellow neighbors with Caribbean roots. It was June of 2006 that Congress of the United States designated the month of June as a time that we as a nation would honor and acknowledge Caribbean American Heritage Month. Mrs. Gannett Gittens Roberts, President of Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce, Samuel Roberts, her husband, coordinator, presidents of Jamaican, Trinidad, Haitian, and Grenada Chambers of Commerce, and other number of individuals from diverse portions of the Caribbean are present today to be a part of this observance in our city. We, as a city, are grateful to each of you for all of your hard work to make sure that our city is one that all of us are proud to call home. This month has been filled with activities which celebrates the rich legacy of this part of the world. There are still a few more events that I would encourage each of you to attend. The schedule of these events can be found in the Caribbean American Passport News magazine, and I am sure that the paper's publisher, Mrs. Gannett Gittens Roberts, can assist us with copies of this newspaper. Excuse me. Mayor, before you present the proclamation, I would like for Mrs. Roberts to give just a brief remarks concerning the activities, and I know that there's an activity that's being scheduled for Lake Eola.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor Dyer. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I absolutely loved that introduction. Thank you. We would just love to encourage everyone to come out on June 23rd. We have a business expo still upcoming, and that's going to be held at Majestic Event Center. And that's showcasing the businesses that make an impact on Orange County and on Central Florida. We have on the 24th, the big festival downtown at Lake Eola. We've been very blessed to have a lot of support and a lot of hand-holding from the mayor's office. The City of Orlando has been wonderful to us, and we're very thankful to you guys for that. So that's the 24th. We'll be there from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., and it's going to be a showcasing of the diversity of our culture. We have in the Caribbean, we have Chinese, we have Portuguese, we have Indian, we have African, so you'll see all of those diverse cultures. You'll have food from Jamaica, Trinidad, Haiti, so I encourage you to come out for a festival on June 24th.
Thank you. Thank you. Why don't you stay right here. Thank you very much. Proclamation, City of Orlando. Whereas in June of 2006, the Congress of the United States designated the month of June to be observed as Caribbean American Heritage Month, and whereas the President of the United States signed into law the bill to observe this annual celebration, and whereas today, as we celebrate and extol the gifts of all peoples of Caribbean descent have bestowed upon our city, state, and nation, and whereas the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce of Florida and the heads of the Caribbean organizations of Central Florida is actively involved in and promotes economic development, cultural awareness, responsible and law-abiding citizenship among its member organizations, and whereas the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce of Florida and the heads of the Caribbean organizations of Central Florida have coordinated a variety of activities from June 1st through the 30th, and whereas we are pleased to recognize and honor the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce of Florida and the heads of the Caribbean organizations of Central Florida and the Caribbean American population. Now, therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, hereby do proclaim the month of June 2012 as Caribbean American Heritage Month in the City of Orlando.
All right.
We'll move right into a quick mayor's update. So this last weekend, we had the opportunity to showcase our city before America's mayors. We had the 80th Annual U.S. Conference of Mayors summer meeting at the Loews Royal Pacifica Resort in Universal Orlando. And I don't think it could have gone much better than it did. The positive comments we got were the results of 2.5 years of planning for the event, but was because of all of the great volunteers that we had working the events. We had, I think, something like 150 volunteers that were doing everything from greeting people, greeting mayors and their families as they got off the plane at Orlando International, to taking care of every need that a mayor or a family member had. Carson and Michelle and the whole group of city staff that volunteered, did an excellent job. We had family tours. I think Gatorland was the biggest hit of the family tours. Our tourism community stepped up and helped us with the hosting, Universal, SeaWorld, and Disney. We showcased the Amway Center in beautiful Lake Eola on Thursday night, and I can tell you, Commissioners, there was nothing but positive comments that I heard all weekend long, so we can be very proud of our city family, and I think any of us that travels to any city in America will be welcomed with open arms after we receive this group. 2 other cities backed out from hosting the next one, I think, because they didn't want to be compared to the event that we were able to showcase. The next mayor's event will be, interestingly enough, in Las Vegas, so they will see the family side of things, and then they will see the other side of things. And we had the most participants in the history of the conference in ours, and I don't think there will probably be people bringing 10 grandchildren to the Vegas event, is my guess. So I want to thank all of the city staff and the other volunteers and everybody that helped make our hosting of this a very great success. And actually, my notes here, Ed, say that you have some photos you're going to show. It's Mayor Nutter there in the middle. He became the new conference chairman, president. It's Mayor Viragosa. He was the current president from L.A., Nutter's from Philadelphia, and the other guy is Scott Smith. He's the first vice president from Mesa, Arizona. Vice President Biden addressed the group on Friday. Amway Center event. It's me singing. Yeah, that got a good laugh. We were at SeaWorld one of the nights. I did, Ed? Okay, thank you. So you got a little bit of flavor. Okay, we will not have another City Council meeting before July 4th, so I want to invite everyone to the city's annual fireworks at the fountain event starting at 4 p.m. at Lake Eola. Highlight will obviously be a spectacular 15-minute fireworks display that begins at 9:20. You'll also have an opportunity. There are a few pieces of the old Lake Eola fountain memorabilia that Commissioner Sheehan thought up that we still have for sale, and we'll have a kiosk or a booth or something to sell those. I just have one item that I want to mention on the agenda, and that is the sidewalk and streetscape improvements for the Cimarron Boulevard corridor that Commissioner Ortiz has been working on for some time. It's really going to help the neighborhood implement some of the goals that are outlined in the vision plan for the area. The Cimarron Boulevard Vision Plan is a long-term guide for the future development improvements in this area and has been developed under Commissioner Ortiz's leadership and guidance. So I want to congratulate you and recognize you on that agenda item.
Thank you.
With that, we will move on to the consent agenda, and the consent agenda is a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of the council members an opportunity to comment on items on the consent agenda, as well as to generally update you on items of importance in their districts. And we rotate the order in which the commissioners go, and today we are going to begin with District 1, Commissioner Jim Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to pass along my congratulations on a great event. Well done there. I also like to thank our sponsors and the venue host. A lot of coordination and a lot of compromise on their part to allow that to happen. So congrats and thanks to them. Also like to recognize quickly one of our own, Mr. Paul Lewis of our planning department. Paul, give us a wave. Come on. Paul had an article recently published in the Historical Society of Central Florida's magazine highlighting the importance of our tree canopy and natural lakes in the design of the city, not just now, but certainly for the last 100 years. And it was very well written. If you get a chance, I'd encourage you to read it. But, Paul, well done. That was well written. Within the district, just want to highlight a couple of things on the consent agenda. Item I-3 recognizes the Easterfield connection. Cannot take any credit for this at all, done before my time. But this was one of the casualties of our economy. Developer ran out of cash, could not complete one of the access roads in the back of the subdivision. Congrats to Public Works as well as the neighbors for getting together, finding a solution. Hopefully we'll be able to put that street in shortly, and we are going to share the cost with the neighbors. So I think it's a good partnership. Certainly provides better access and convenience, but as important, better safety. So wanted to recognize our folks in Public Works and the neighbors. Also, last Monday, I attended an open house at Nemours. Roger Oxendale and his staff took me through. Don't know if you recognize, but in Medical City, Nemours will be open in 4 months. And it's a very impressive facility. I'm sure they'll have plenty of tours as we get closer, but certainly an exciting time for our city as we continue to expand our capabilities in the medical field. Finally, would just like to share with our neighbors, we have an upcoming neighborhood meeting. That's on Monday, July 9th at 7 p.m. at the Lake Nona YMCA. Some local folks would like to develop about 300 apartments. We want to make sure the community has input on that. On the city website and under my district, I've got a banner that highlights those. But I'd like to just go ahead and put it out there now. That's Monday, July 9th. Certainly like the input for from the community. And Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 2. Commissioner Tony Ortiz.
Thank you, sir. That was quick. That was great. Hats off, Mayor. Great city of the Mayor's Conference. Hats off. I think you really hit a home run on that one. And I want to thank and congratulate the staff for such a great job. I mean, I always talk about the city of Orlando being the epicenter of the world, but that really topped it off. It was great. I want to congratulate the staff. I also want to congratulate all as Commissioner Gray said, the partners, those who supported the event, and once again, it put us on top of the world. So, Mayor, great job. On Friday, June 8th, I participated along with Mayor Dyer at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Annual Business Expo ribbon cutting ceremony. This Hispanic Expo is one of the biggest in the nation, and it was a great event. My congratulations to Mr. Ramon Ojeda, who always puts up a great show, and Mrs. Diana Bolivar and their staff for putting together this event. Ms. Diana Bolivar is going to be the new president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. On Saturday, June 9th, once again, Mrs. Jan Rahill and her staff from Green Up Orlando put together another very successful Green Up event at the Villas of Costa del Sol neighborhood. Residents of Villas of Costa del Sol and volunteers clean up, planet, and beautify the neighborhood's entrances. Thanks again, and congratulations to Mrs. Adolfina Ortiz, president of the Homeowners Association, and the residents who participated on this particular event. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And on item I-4, Mayor, thank you for congratulating me, but I got to congratulate all of you and our staff and our partners in District 2, because none of this we would have never been able to accomplish this had it not been for the cooperation of all our community leaders, commissioners, Mayor. You have given us a great support trying to revitalize the Cimarron Corridor. And I tell you what, there's a lot more coming. I think this is going to be a great beginning, and people are going to like what they see. And, of course, then we're going to be moving to Phase 2. And I'm trying to anticipate this, to put that in the back of y'all's mind. so we can continue collaborating. So thank you so much. I got to thank everybody for that. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 3. Commissioner Robert Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations again to you and to all of our staff of the United States Conference of Mayors. I, like you, did not hear one negative comment from anybody in the entire event, and they were just couldn't have been more impressed with how everything was put together. So congratulations. The hard work paid off, and so I appreciate that. Let me also share a little belated Happy Father's Day. It's always been a special day for me, and I get a chance to yesterday spend time with one of my grandchildren, 14 hours with a 5-week-old. It was wonderful. About an hour of it was wonderful. The FDOT is having a public meeting about sidewalk construction on June 26th at the American Legion at Trotters Park. There'll be an open house format from 5 to 7 with a short presentation at 6. Here's what it's about. The FDOT is getting ready to put some sidewalks down along Orange Blossom Trail, John Young Parkway, and Princeton Street to make sure we have better pedestrian traffic. And they're going to be introducing those plans, so please come and join us. It'll be over there on Lee Road. There's more information on my website if people are interested. Baldwin Park is having their the July 4th celebration this Sunday. This year they're going to do it on Sunday, July 1st. It'll be at 6 p.m. at Harbor Park. We're really excited about that. It's being taken over by the ROA, and we think it's going to be great guns. We expect probably about 8,000 or 9,000 people that will be enjoying the fireworks around Baldwin Park. We're also excited to announce the celebration of the expansion of the Orlando Urban Trail with the completion of our Dinky Line segment. On July 12th, we will be celebrating the Family 5K Walk Run. This event will start at 5:30. Join us in the parking lot at the Manila Museum, and the walk run will begin at 6:30. So please come and join us. Here's a short information about it. Those of us who can catch that real quick. And there's information on the city's website and on the District 3 website as well. You haven't already signed up, please sign up for National Night Out. This is taking place on August 7th. This year's theme is Celebrating Safe Communities. It's a great way to get to know your neighbors, have the city pay for a block party, and also have some fun at the same time. So please come join us. If you need more information, go to cityoforlando.net/police. And also want to mention on this Saturday, the 23rd, Orlando, the Ivanhoe Village Main Street will be doing a green up at the Lock Haven Park along with the Summit Church. And we're excited about sprucing it up a little bit and getting some more activity and energy over there at Lock Haven. It's a great community facility that we think is going to be continue to be a wonderful asset for our community. And that's all that I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 4. Commissioner Patty Sheehan.
Well, and thanks, Mayor. And the conference was great. I mean, a lot of people were saying really question mark, really exclamation point by the time they left. So it was just a really great conference. If you check out the Orlando Sentinel today, the urban chickens are on the front page. So we're making quite a splash with that. And Patty Heavener from District 3 was prominently featured in that, so glad to see that it's really being enjoyed by a lot of folks going to the classes and really enjoying the program. We have 2 new swans at Lake Eola Park. They just came in today. They are black-necked swans, and Mayor Dyer and I will do an education program and installing feeders at the park on June 23rd at 10 a.m. in order to encourage people to feed them the right things. We actually lost some swans because of kids feeding them popcorn, and bread's actually very bad for them, too. They can get a condition called angel wings, so the whole thing is about educating people the proper things to feed the swans, especially since I just donated those with my leftover campaign funds, and they were kind of pricey, so I want to make sure they live this time. So please, if you're going to feed them at the park, make sure you don't feed them bread, don't feed them popcorn. Leafy vegetables and lettuce are the best things you can bring to feed the swans at the park. So if you could help me get the word out, I'd appreciate it. And popcorn is lethal. That's what killed our last black-necked swan. And we want to tell people, don't feed popcorn. And please, bread is actually, I see kids all the time and parents carrying bread to Lake Eola Park. It's actually one of the worst things that you can feed waterfowl. So again, if you want to do something good, bring a head of lettuce to the park if you want to feed the swans. On the agenda today, item B5, I'm glad to see savings from the stormwater projects and shifting funding to cover high priority projects in neighborhoods to prevent neighborhood flooding. That's a great thing. Item F1, in the heart of District 4, Heart to Heart. It is actually housing for abused women. Ellen Purcell is here today. We're thrilled that you're going to be a new neighbor, and very proud to support this wonderful program. On item F2, Anderson Oaks Apartments, again, funding to rehabilitate 12 one-bedroom low-income apartments in District 4, too. So we're doing some great stuff in District 4 today. And item I-5, I-6, and I-7 are infrastructure improvements by Orlando Health. So glad to see all those on the agenda today. That's all I had, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Sheehan. We'll move to District 5. Commissioner Daisy Lynham.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer, and congratulations on a great event. I had more fun than anybody. So I'm tireder than everybody. I am so tired. But it was one of the greatest events I've gone to ever. And to meet so many old friends and make new friends. And it's all about networking and exchanging ideas. So I really appreciated being invited. But I had to work one night. Kathy would not allow me in without working first. So I enjoyed it, and thank you, and congratulations. I would like to join everyone in wishing fathers who had Father's Day yesterday, I hope you had a great day. I have 2 sons, so it's important to me, and I had to consult Commissioner Sheehan on getting one of my Father's Day gifts. I couldn't remember what she told me one day, so I had to track her down while at Home Depot. But everybody had a great day. On an agenda item under awards, number 1, the Fit Friendly City, when Debbie was here, I really wanted to cry out to tell her about a phone call I received from Ronise Weaver from Ebony Nutrition, who's visiting her mother in Miami. She just told me this 2 nights ago. There is a fitness program, I'm sure it was a grant, where there's actual fitness equipment in the park. It is, I guess, cemented in or whatever. I said, what do you mean? What kind of fitness center? We've done that before. You have the little thing where you jump on and hang yourself, whatever. But she said, no, they're real, treadmills and stair steppers and all of that stuff and climbers. So maybe we need to look into the possibility of a grant where we can do the same thing so we can get even more fit. I really appreciated that recognition this morning, but it is a great idea because Ebony Nutrition is moving forward with a mobile farmers market, and we'll partner with the city, we hope, when the time comes, and with links and whatnot. So as we move forward toward our fitness, it is great to have these relationships on that idea. Now, I have another announcement. Everyone knows I have a great disdain for signs, and this article talks about these nuisance signs. I know when we run for office, if you're like me, I hire someone to put them out, and I hire someone to pick them up. So this is not about campaigning. Most campaign signs disappear, shortly after the campaigns. But the junk car signs, and I don't know why people think they are legal or think they're right. But in Hollywood, Florida, this came out of the New York Times, Harry Barley sent it to me, because we were in somewhere in Polk County, and I didn't see as many, and I commented about it. I saw some, but not as many. They're real pollutants. Now, we have a remedy that I have called code enforcement, and I will help if we have to out of my budget. It's called robocalling. You're going to mess up our community, we're going to call you and call you and call you until you stop. Pick up your signs and go home. These signs are bad for tourism. They are not attractive. They are messy. Our code enforcement spends too much time picking these signs up. So we need your help in the community to help us remove them. I have one neighborhood program coming on board that will also encourage neighborhood associations to help get these signs out. But if we initiate our robocalls, I think, Mayor, all we need is the computer program. I think if you're illegal, you don't deserve to be treated any differently. So if anybody wants this, we have it, and I fax it over to Mike Rhodes. As for that. The other is I want to congratulate Dr. Angela Adams, who works very hard every year. This was the 16th year for the Black Men Health Summit. I have partnered with them from the beginning because there is no way I'm going to give up a Saturday just to sleep around or garden when I can go be around 2,000 black men, well, all kind of men. And then, if we're in the minority, I'm like, oh boy, make my day. And good-looking guys. Reggie was there. But I just want to congratulate Dr. Adams, who is a pharmacist, and Dr. Abraham Woods, urologist, and Dr. Robinson. Every year, lives are being saved, and for all their sponsors. That is very, very, very important. I have another special thank you to Byron and Thomas and Rebecca and Laurie, who worked so hard on Agenda Item 11. I just simply want to say thank you, and I think that is sufficient. I believe, Mayor, that is all I have. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 6, Commissioner Samuel Ings.
Thank you, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, and happy belated, happy Father's Day to you and all of the fathers here in Orlando and the Central Florida area. I know we were busy with the 2012 United States Conference of Mayors, and from the very beginning, Mayor, one of the attendees said, this is the best. Now, they hadn't gone to any of the other events yet, but on day one, they were saying this has been the very best conference of mayors that they've attended right here in Orlando. And so that speaks volumes for Orlando. Those first impressions are obviously great impressions. And for them to say that Orlando was great from the start before they even got into the event is a great plus for you. And all of our city staff and volunteers that really helped make this event great. We just opened up our doors, our arms, and it really made a difference in every event. And especially what was real special was Amway Center and Lake Eola. And to have that air-conditioned tent out there in Lake Eola and people watching the fountain, it was just great. And we got so many different responses from the people. But many thanks to Universal Studios, Comcast, SeaWorld, Walt Disney World, Gatorland, because you too helped make Orlando shine. And that's why you had the great numbers that you have, because of the destination that we have right here. And that's why over 55 million people come to Orlando to visit and play and enjoy. So you really have a lot to be proud of, and it really affects the economic dollar too. And then on Sunday, June 10th, 2012 at 3 p.m., I attended the Mount Sinai Child Development Center Class of 2012 VPK graduation. My granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, Samaria Ings Adamson, was a graduate there, and Dr. Betty Nugent, the principal, was the guest speaker. And to see those little graduates in cap and gown in voluntary PK really made a difference, because the kids were enthused and so were their parents. And then this past Saturday on June 16th, we celebrated Juneteenth community celebration at the Dr. James R. Smith Center. And Juneteenth is also known as Freedom Day or Emancipation Day. It's an annual holiday celebrated in the month of June in the United States to commemorate the ending of slavery. June 19th marks the day in 1865 when word reached African Americans in Texas that slavery in the United States had been abolished. More than 2 years earlier, on New Year's Day, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln had issued the Emancipation Proclamation. And this was delivered during the American Civil War. This proclamation ordered the freeing of all slaves in states that were rebelling against the Union forces. The proclamation had little effect in Texas, where there were few Union troops to enforce the order. News of the proclamation officially reached Texas on June 19, 1865, when a Union general backed by nearly 2,000 troops arrived in the city of Galveston. The General Gordon Granger publicly announced that slavery in the United States had ended. And I hosted the 4th annual Juneteenth event last Saturday at the Dr. James R. Smith Center. And throughout the day, the District 6 residents gathered to commemorate and to retell African American history. I would like to thank the Pine Hills Community Church Divine Praise Dancers for performing first in the morning. I'd like to thank the Rathman Club Mr. George Jordan, the president, for being there, and AMVET's Post 30, and also and especially the Smith Center staff, Marlon Potee, Kiva Wilson, and Maurice Hampton. They really rolled up their sleeves and jumped in and helped to have a successful day there at the Dr. James R. Smith Center. Also on Saturday, Unity Day, I co-sponsored the second annual Unity Day that took place at Hankins Park, the Firstborn Church of the Living God under the leadership of Bishop Herbert Cohen. North Florida Diocese Sanford District hosted a family day of food, entertainment, and fellowship. 5 members of churches came together, including Apopka, Balls Temple in Orlando, Kissimmee, Moore's Temple, Reddick Memorial, and Titusville. And Mother Audrey Wilson, the district field worker, had the vision to organize a day to unite the firstborn district churches in a setting outside of the church building, and also including and opening their event to the entire community. So congratulations on Unity Day, and it was a great event. The Standing Ovation Talent Group, I was pleased to co-sponsor and enjoy an afternoon of musical extravaganza on Saturday, June 16th, as the Standing Ovation Talent Group performed their 15th annual dance recital at First Baptist Church Fellowship Hall right there at John Young and McLeod Road. Dance is an important part of American culture and a positive outlet for our youth. I extend my congratulations to Terry Burns, founder, for a successful recital and for her outstanding dedication over the years to provide exposure of arts to our local youth, and the youth were ages 5 to 18, and to also provide college scholarships to her graduating seniors from our local high schools. Terry Burns is accepting registration now for the upcoming classes starting on July 9th. I encourage parents and students to please contact Terry Burns, and you can do that by contacting my office. My aide, Cynthia Wilson, will give you all of her information. And the last thing I wanted to say, Mayor, was on the council agenda, item A1, approving the city's Equal Employment Opportunity Commission contract. This is obviously a great event because the city of Orlando is constantly working to help others that are really in need of being, having someone to be there to help them when they need an advocate to help in cases of discrimination. So again, thank you, Mayor, and thank you for our city, and thank you, residents. Thank you, council, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I was moved by everybody.
So moved.
Commissioner Ortiz moves the consent agenda. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Let's, without objection, recess the City Council meeting, and we will convene the CRA meeting for the purpose of accepting meeting minutes of the CRA Advisory Board for April 11th, 2012.
Move approval, Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lineham, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so the motion carries. We will adjourn the CRA meeting, and we will convene the Neighborhood Improvement District Board of Directors meeting for the purpose of accepting meeting minutes of the NID Advisory Council for May 29th, 2012. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Ings. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. So we will adjourn the NID meeting and reconvene the City Council meeting. And let's move to hearings, ordinances, first read.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Growth Management Plan to amend future land use element policies 5.4.11 and 5.7.2, to amend future land use element figure LU2F, and to amend urban design element figure UD32, providing for severability and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ings, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Growth Management Plan to amend future land use policy 1.5.2, providing for severability and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public who would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Let's move to hearings, ordinances, second reading, number 1.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Plan Development Zoning District regulations for the Lake Nona Plan Development, generally located north of the Orange-Osceola County line, south of Dowden Road, east of Boggy Creek Road, and west of Narcoossee Road, and comprised of 6,900 acres, more or less, amending the Plan Development District's development standards, site plans, and conditions of development, directing amendment of the official zoning map series, providing for severability, correction, scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the, I'm sorry, is there anyone from the, Commissioner Ortiz seconded the motion, and Commissioner Sheehan thirded the motion. Okay, is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Let's move to ordinances first read.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, annexing to the corporate limits of the City of Orlando, Florida, certain real property generally located north of Lee Vista Center, south of Hoffner Avenue, east of Conway Road, and west of Kempston Drive, and addressed as 4850 Hoffner Avenue, comprised of 4.9 acres, more or less, amending the city's adopted growth management plan to designate the property as office low intensity in part and industrial in part on the city's official future land use map, and designating the property as low-intensity office with the aircraft noise overlay district in part and industrial park with the aircraft noise overlay district in part on the city's official zoning map, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, vacating, closing, and abandoning portions of Palmetto Avenue, located generally in downtown Orlando and north of East Robertson Avenue, east of North Magnolia Avenue, south of East Livingston Street, and west of North Rosalind Avenue, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lineham, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Plan Development Zoning District regulations for certain real property generally located north of West Sand Lake Road, south of Dr. Phillips High School, east of Spring Lake, and west of Turkey Lake Road, and comprised of 93.2 acres, more or less, amending the Plan Development District's development program, site plan, and conditions of development, directing amendment of the official zoning map series, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ing, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public who would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 4, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located north of Vanguard Street, east of International Drive, south of West Oak Ridge Road, and west of Florida's Turnpike, comprised of 78 acres, more or less, from PD in part, AC3/SP in part, PD/SP in part, and O1/SP in part, to PD in part, and PD/SP in part, providing land development regulations for the Plan Development Zoning District, directing amendment of the official zoning map series, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Ing, second by Commissioner Stewart. Is anyone from the public like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Let's move on. We have a workshop. Commissioners, it's been a year since we became, the city, OFD, became the primary provider of emergency medical transport, and our goal is to reduce the city's expense to provide this critical service to our residents while also ensuring that our residents receive the best fire protection and emergency response service in the entire country. So I asked Chief Miller to come and update us on the progress of this program. Chief?
Commissioners, first let me start off by saying I don't get to say it often enough. I'm proud to be the mayor of the City of Orlando Fire Department, so thank you for the opportunity. 2.5 years ago, when the mayor appointed me to the fire chief, one thing he said to me was very clear was, I want you to maintain the high level of service that we provide to the citizens of Orlando, of which I take very seriously every day. In addition to that, he advised and asked that we look very closely, myself and my administration, at the operational and fiscal efficiencies of the fire department. And I'm sure he asked that of all his departments, but I took that as a sign directly towards me. So in doing so, 2.5 years ago, we looked at our entire operation. And as you know, one of the things that came clear to us, there was one area where we really could provide an additional service. And so it's coincidental that exactly 2 years and 1 day ago, I sent a letter to you all and asked for your approval and your advisement on a plan that would allow us to provide transport to the citizens of Orlando. And we found that both operationally and financially, that what we could do, we had just been awarded the SAFER grant for 46 personnel, and we said, what can we do with the personnel we have to provide a higher level of service to the citizens? And so we proposed doing this transport where we utilize our same 496 personnel and adjust our staffing and units in such a way that we had enough rescue trucks to provide ALS and auto accidents transport. To date, I'm proud to tell you we've transported more than 25,000 patients to the hospital, and we started on February 1st, 2011. So Deputy Chief Greg Hoggart's going to go through what I'm here today really is the commitment that I made to you a little over a year ago was that I was going to come back and give you an analysis. You said, do this, do an evaluation period, let's see if it really makes sense. And I knew going into this, and I'm sure many of you did, but I said, it's not a matter whether OFD is going to fail or succeed at this project. It was to what level these guys would succeed, to how well they would do. And I'll say to you now, I've got members of our local, President Steve Clellan, Vice President Bernie Bernosca, and the Treasurer Ron Glass here, and Doug Zabin's one of the members as well. Also in attendance, Dr. Chris Hunter from the Orange County Medical Director's Office. Chris Bloss is the Regional General Manager of Rural Metro Corporation. And Daryl Hartung is with our Intermedics, the company that's assisted us with our billing. Also, my staff is here, my EMS team that really has been behind this, my administration who put together this plan that I'm not even going to steal Chief Hoggart's thunder. He'll show you the success of it. And our billing team that we have as well. So they're all in attendance. It's a testament to really the commitment from everybody, every part of my team. But before I do that, if you'll indulge me for just a minute, I was made aware just recently about constituent from Patty Sheehan, Commissioner in District 4. Commissioner Sheehan, a couple of your constituents had come and wanted to talk to some of our firefighters, and they happen to be here today. So if I could, for just a moment, allow Rick and Jennifer Chap to come up and just speak for just a moment before we get started.
Please do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Miller. Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak today. You're about to hear from the Orlando Fire Department with an update on its fire-based transport system. We are here as citizens of Orlando to put a human face on the proof that this system works. On February 27th of this year, for us, the fire-based transport system made the difference between life and death when my husband Rick suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. We are so thankful to Fire Station 6, Shift B in District 4 for saving Rick's life. I count each and every day since as a gift from God made possible by Lieutenant Trent Johnston and his 6-man crew of Fire Station 6. Here's our story about how the system and the chain of survival worked perfectly. The chain of survival has 4 official parts, but in our case it had a 5th part. One of our beloved cats, Buddy, no offense, Mayor.
I'm sure that's coincidental.
On that morning, I was in my home office on the phone with a client, but Buddy sensed something was terribly wrong and was meowing and jumping to get my attention. Fortunately, he did. I picked him up to relocate him, only to find Rick gasping for air on the kitchen floor. I immediately dialed 911. The fire department 911 operator worked quickly to get the facts and get help on the way. But to my horror, within a matter of seconds, Rick was in full cardiac arrest and took his last breath in my arms. I knew I needed to do CPR immediately. The 911 operator calmly told me exactly what to do. It had been more than 20 years since my CPR class taught by an Orlando Fire Department fireman. But I knew the new protocol was chest compressions only to the beat of Staying Alive. It was surreal to have that Bee Gees song in my head while my husband lay there lifelessly. I just hoped I was doing it hard enough. I would later learn that I broke a few ribs, so I guess I did. I counted out loud, but lost count north of 300. I was at the brink of exhaustion when EMS arrived. I'll never forget how OFD entered our home with such noble purpose. They sprang into action, working in perfect harmony. I watched in a faraway dream state while they carefully placed their leads and shouted that word that I had heard only on TV, clear. I closed my eyes, and then I heard the most amazing words ever. We got a heartbeat. They had successfully restarted Rick's heart. They intubated Rick and started bagging him to keep him alive for his trip to the next length of the survival chain, advanced medical care. The ambulance left quickly, and a couple of firemen stayed to clean up. They were so very kind to me. I don't remember much as I was in complete shock, as you might imagine. But I do remember that Lieutenant Johnston took me gently by the shoulders, looked me in the eyes with his own kind eyes, and said, "We got his heart started, and that is huge." That gave me such hope. At ORMC, Rick got incredible advanced care, and I got such comfort from the hospital staff, the hospital clergy, family, neighbors, and friends. Rick was put into a medically induced coma and placed in hypothermia to protect his vital organs. He was cared for by amazing doctors and nurses in ICU. On day 3, they slowly warmed him up, and on day 4, he was awake and extubated, and I got my first kiss. My Rick was in there. On day 5, his cardiologist put in a stent as his LAD was 95% blocked, and on day 11, Rick came home. He survived the Widowmaker. When this happened, I had no idea that Rick had less than a 5% chance of surviving an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. But he not only survived, he suffered no brain damage and no heart muscle damage. So we've been told that puts him in about the 1% or less. I guess that is why his nurses nicknamed him Miracle Man. And this miracle happened because of the incredible speed and continuity of care provided by the Orlando Fire Department, its 911 service, and its fire-based transport system that was there when literally seconds mattered. The chain of survival worked perfectly, and each and every member of the Orlando Fire Department is my hero. Thank you for saving my Rick. And Rick wants to say a few words.
Hello, Mayor, Commissioners. I have no memory of the events on February 27th until sometime later when they wheeled me out of ICU to a step-down heart unit. That was probably 4 or 5 days later. But I am glad that I don't remember, because what I've heard, it's not worth remembering. Jennifer says that she can remember all those terrifying days for both of us. But as you can see, I'm doing great. I'm working hard in the cardiac rehab. I quit smoking. I'm eating heart healthy and exercising at least 5 times a week. That's a total life change for me. But all new habits to make the most of my second chance at life. And hope to continue to share our story as CPR advocates and instructors one day. But in May, we got a chance to thank the members of Fire Station 6 who responded to us in our time of need. It was a really healing moment for both of us. Oh, yeah, she has a picture of a...
Hey, Ed, can you help them put it up on the screen, maybe?
So I was saying, this was such a healing moment for both of us, and we learned that there are very few code saves, and I just happened to be one of them. We are forever grateful to the men and women of Orlando Fire Department who do amazing things, put their lives on the line, and give of themselves every day. Their level of training is unsurpassed, and no one has more heart than these guys. And because of their speed, their skill, and their seamless continuity of care, Jennifer and I celebrated 20 years of marriage on Saturday.
All right.
So, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank Orlando Fire Department for giving us the chance to make many, many more memories together. And thank you, Orlando City Council, for supporting the great works of the Orlando Fire Department, for providing incredible emergency services to our community, and for letting average citizens like us share our story. So thank you very much.
Rick and Jennifer, thank you for coming and sharing your experience with us. Our fire department is one of 60 fire departments in the entire country that have an ISO rating of 1. That's 60 out of 50,000 fire departments. And the stat that I always use to bring home what does it mean to have an ISO rating of 1 is basically your story, that our cardiac save rate is 3 times the national average. And to have you so poignantly point out what difference that makes, thank you for coming and doing that. Commissioner Ortiz and I had a similar experience. We were out talking, and I gave that stat at the El Dorado Apartments, and a gentleman stood up and said, yes, I was saved. I had a heart attack, I think it was like 2 months ago. It was very recent, and had a very similar experience, and OFD was able to save him as well, and lots of other folks. And I am so glad that you have stopped smoking. I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the meeting when the city received a fitness award.
Yes, we were here.
Certainly, let's see, you guys live where?
530 Southampton.
Okay,
in
well, we
District 4.
have nice fitness facilities at all of our community centers, and we're relatively cheap, and the Y is not too far from
We
you
are
either.
members.
We're members of that.
Okay.
Thank
great.
you
so
very
much.
much.
Thank you for coming today.
I will tell you, I've never met them before today. I wasn't aware that they were coming until last evening. They called and asked. They heard about our presentation, asked if they could. I hadn't heard I didn't prepare their speech for them. It was, although it hit all the points that we're going to cover today, so it's kind of very nice. One thing I did notice, if you saw that picture, that Ron Glass was one of those people.
I
that
saw Ron back
provided
there with his
lights.
eyes closed.
Stand up, Ron. Yeah, it's hard to miss him in a picture, and he did a great job. So, well, if you look at your
Chief,
screen,
just a second. Commissioner Ortiz?
I just want to say something because I heard the lady, which I'm very, very proud and very happy that it turned out great. And Commissioner Sheehan, I swear I don't mean this in a mean way, but they were from District 2.
No, they're not.
The firefighters had, Station
well, the
6.
fire station, they do
Just to
cross
let you know.
territory. Yeah, they do cross districts.
Well, they drove through District 3 to get there. I'm sure.
They're all your firefighters.
That's because
They're all
mine is for busy, Commissioner. Eh?
They are all yours. But if you would look at your at the screen there, you'll see when I presented to you about a year and a half ago, I said I'd come back and let you look at this evaluation period. The first 3 months you see there, we anticipated having a transition with Rural Metro, and in reality, we were able to do it starting February 1st. We had our whole fleet ready to go, and so we actually were able to shave 3 months off of our evaluation. So we started our evaluation, if you'll look there, started May 1st, this 1 year snapshot, through April 30th. So after the evaluation, our goal is to do present for an RFP for an ambulance service. We've had excellent service from the Rural Metro. That teamwork and obviously the life-saving abilities has been there. But we're required to do an RFP to put it out there to get the best, the best value and the best service we possibly can. So we are currently writing that RFP, and with your approval, we'll move forward. But we plan on being ahead of schedule. Our contract ends in January, so our timing is really right on task with today's meeting. It's very simple. Our criteria for evaluation was two things. Operationally, is it going to impact, or did it impact, the quality of service that we're already giving to our citizens? And two, did the addition of fire-based transport generate sufficient revenue? And I think that I won't even go on any further. I'll let Deputy Chief Greg Hoggett come up and just kind of give you a quick overview of how things went.
Welcome, Chief Hoggett.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. As Chief Miller said, this is a snapshot period from May 1st, 2011 through April 30th of this year to give you a present what we've done for that period of time to reflect what we believe to be the trends and the average across here. What we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the OFD history, some of the significant factors, the ambulance RFP, the SAFER grant, fire-based EMS transport proposal as we move through this presentation. OFD has been the leaders in the EMS in the Central Florida area. When the state of Florida first initiated a paramedic program with certifications, we had former members of our department with the state certification numbers of 1. So we have been the primary leaders in the state of Florida and the Central Florida area. In the mid-'70s, we introduced advanced life support to the citizens, and then in the '80s, we introduced all ALS capabilities, advanced life support on all of our engine companies, our first response. And then in the '90s, we converted all of our stations to ALS. That means all of our units and everything going out the door had paramedics, and we're able to give advanced life support. OFD has always been the provider of the backup transport service. When we've had ambulance companies serving us, we've always been there when they were busy or extended ETA or load and go situations. So we have been in the transport business, but not as the primary. The ambulance RFP, when Orange County took over transport, Orange County Fire took over transport in 2008, the City of Orlando was left with doing a quick contract for service, and those contracts extended over several years. We then first did our first ambulance RFP in 2010, which was eventually held up as we moved into the transport service. We also know that over the last several years, we've submitted for the 46 personnel for the SAFER grant. This was all combining into the aspect of us looking for ways, as Chief Miller says, to try to return some value or something that we could do to help offset our ever-increasing budgets. We want to recognize the fact that through the cities giving us the permission, our extensive work with the IAFF, working together with them to secure the grants to get everything, we were awarded that 2-year grant of 46 personnel, which helped us shore up what we consider the 496, the optimum number to provide the best service level we can. In turn, we came to you with a fire-based transport proposal. Since OFD was doing most of the work on the scene, we proposed to do transport. We were told that there would be no expansion of personnel. Those were rough times in the city. We could not afford to put on the additionals to go forward. So what we did is we proposed doing all the ALS, the advanced life support, and the auto access for transport, and that we would have basic life support to our private provider. That gave us approximately a 2/3 to 1/3 split of transports between us and the private provider. With that, we recognized immediately in order to be effective, we needed to add rescues 6, 9, and 15. And through the relocation of manpower and the distribution across the city, we were very successful in placing those units in service. So, what did we do in this period of time? We had a number of things that we had to do. The startup preparations, we had capital purchases, we had our Medicaid and Medicare applications to go through, we had to secure a billing company, we had to obtain a new EMS reporting system, and most specifically an ambulance support contract. The startup preparations meant establishing working committees between all members of the department, both labor and management, to consider the operations changes that would need to be done for fire-based EMS transport. Our supply, logistics, not only in our trucks but in our stations. The training in both EMS transport but at the hospital. We went to our hospitals and asked them what do they need from us So we developed a training program, an orientation program, put all of our personnel in, so when we walk through the door, we know what the hospitals need. They get us in the door, they get us out faster. We had to increase our quality assurance. This was both on report writing documentation and the treatments to make sure that we were following the Orange County Medical Director's protocol, not only from the scenes but now through transport. We had to change general EMS policies, and we had to incorporate HIPAA into our new program. Our capital purchases included 10 new rescue trucks, onboard computers for dispatching and mapping, our Power Pro stretchers, which have been one of the best things to reduce injuries, LifePak 15s, which are the most modern defibrillators in the fleet to make sure that when we need them and they're there for the citizens, as you heard earlier, they're there to give us the best diagnostic tools and the best tool to work on to save lives, and additional needed equipment and supplies. Our Medicaid and Medicare application was one thing that we had to deal with the federal government and the state government. We were told an average time to receive this is 9 to 12 months. We submitted our Medicaid application in December, and we received our Medicare number in March. From that, our first payment from Medicare was received in May. We could not submit for Medicaid until after we had received our Medicaid number. So then we made our application immediately when we received our number, and our first repayment from them was received in June. OF needed to have an experienced billing company. We could not take this on. We call the complexities of the coding and the Medicaid, Medicare requirements, insurance, and billing requirements. So we piggybacked on an Orange County contract for services, and we obtained the services of Advanced Data Processing Corporate, or as we call ADPI, who are leaders in the EMS industry on billing and recovery and actually service most of the surrounding entities around us. Our report writing system we determined to be inadequate for EMS transporting. Our then report writing system was you came back to the station and write the report. But since we would now be in the hospitals, we needed to obtain signatures from hospitals, signatures from patients. So we changed to a mobile reporting system on ruggedized laptops. And our crews are now able to complete these reports in the field and at the hospitals, obtain the signatures from the hospital's patients for billing as required. We moved on next to the ambulance support contract. Our city contracted with Rural Metro directly for basic life support and ALS backup support. Currently, our contract includes supplied dedicated units from them to the city. Units are now dispatched by OFD. They have the same computers in their vehicles as we have in the cities to give them the most up-to-date, accurate, and quick response and dispatch. They're now able to talk on our radio system, so our crews can communicate them effectively to make sure that they're getting their directions or when they're needed to be expedited. And they have provided us a full-time dispatcher in our OFD Communications Center to assist us with hospital status and changes and move-ups. And when the system is incorporated or getting really busy, they have the power to call on their general transport side and move units into the system. Now the meat of the presentation is our operational statistics. So we're going to talk about how many transports, the daily average, the ratio of our transports with Rural Metro, the compliance summary, the service level mix, the transporter-related injuries and complaints. This graph represents a one-year snapshot showing you exactly how many calls we did along with how many transports were done by us and Rural Metro. The red line and the blue line indicate both the agencies. OFD in this snapshot period did over 19,000 transports to the hospital, which equates to just under 1,600 on average per month. Rural Metro assisted us with close to 7,700 plus transports and close to 650 a month. Our daily average is OFD is transporting 52 people to the hospital with support from Rural Metro transporting another 21. This equates to a 70.96% of the transport being done daily by Orlando Fire Department and Rural Metro with another 28.56. There's small little error numbers in there because during this period of time we also had Health Central Ambulance, who has since then gone out of business and has been now being covered by Rural Metro's area. When you look at this is a significant. This will be a detailed snapshot of exactly how busy our units are. What is interesting is if you'll look to the left of the red dotted line, these are our everyday in-service units. As each of the commissioners will recognize which rescues cover their territory. Our larger downtown urban core between rescues 1, 2, and 7 are the primary busiest units. Followed up then with rescues 9, 10, and 11, tailing off to rescues 6 and 12, and so forth. The significance of the note on the bar graphs to the right of the red line, those 4 units there are what we call jump over units. We have 4 strategically placed extra units around that are stocked, ready to go. And should the system become inundated with a mass amount of calls, we have the capability of putting 4 more units on the road, as well as calling for our partners, Rural Metro, to infuse the system. If you look at that, that is a very small indicator of the times that we've actually had to put those in. So when we planned and we placed these units through the city, it looks like we got it right. Now, the compliance factor, what we measure is looking for the ability to provide a transport-capable unit on the scene 10 minutes or less 90% of the time. For this study period, the Orlando Fire Department average was 95.92%. Rural Metro's average was 93.80%, which was a system average of 94.86%. We got there in greater than 10 minutes. What is also interesting to know and make sure that you understand, this is just the transport unit getting there. In cases where the transport units, there's 11 units covering 17 stations, you still have the finest quality of service between your engine companies and your truck companies still getting to the scene in around 6 minutes to provide advanced care. This is what makes us the standout. We're providing the level of care by any unit that can get there, and we're able to provide you a transport unit to get you to the hospital. This is the service level mix. We have 3 basic classifications of types of calls. We have the BLS, or basic life support, which is a simple arm strain, fracture, or so forth, not requiring anything more than a splint. The ALS1 is where a paramedic has to start making those decisions as there's something more going on. He may do something diagnostically, like putting on the cardiac monitor, oxygen, start a prophylactic IV. The Advanced Life Support 2, which is the most critical, the cardiac arrest, the trauma alerts. So when you look at the number of calls that we did over this period of time, 88% of our calls as we determined them on the scene were Advanced Life Support 1, 11% were BLS, and about 1% of the ALS. You also have to understand that this was determination afterwards. Our dispatch center makes the call determination when they receive the information, but actually when the paramedic gets to the scene and talks to the patient, and how the report is written and then eventually coded makes the determinant of the final. This is a little chart here just to show you some significance. The light blue line across there indicates the average monthly transports. You can see across the board it is approximately 1,600. There's 2 other lines there. There's a little green line and a little red line that you can barely see at the bottom. You have to really look for it. This is a representation in this 12-month period. We had 3 documented minor injuries and 3 documented citizen complaints. Anything from misplaced medications or personal belongings. So in that 19+ thousand transports, you can see that only 3 minor injuries or 3 complaints. That goes to the efficiencies and the trainings and what we're doing to help the people. We're going to move now into the financial statistics. We're going to talk about our billing summary, our Medicaid and Medicare adjustments, the payer mix comparisons, and then revenue collected. For the billing summary purposes, we had a total gross billable of over $18.2 million. With that, we're obligated to do an adjustment to billable, which is the Medicaid and Medicare of $4.3 million, which left us a net adjusted billing of $13.9 million, and total deposits in the bank in this time were $4.8 million. Now, what you need to know is the City of Orlando, when you pass by resolution, rates. Medicaid and Medicare are capped rates. If you are going to participate in those programs from the governments, from the state and from the federal government, you have a certain amount that you will receive regardless of what we bill. The city rates are respectively for a basic life support is $700, advanced life support $900, and an ALS2 is $1,000. Medicare will only pay $268, $319, and $462. Respectively, we write off of a difference or report an adjustment of $432 for a BLS, $581 for an ALS-1, $538 for an ALS-2. Medicare pays $136, $190, and $190. Therefore, we must report a difference of $564, $710, and $810 difference. Those are reported as adjustments. So understanding that those differences, then you have to look at your payer class mix. Based upon those $19,000+, there's 4 payer class mixes here. There's a self-pay, insurance, Medicare, and Medicaid. And to remind you that the basics of our call are 88% were advanced life support. So you can see that the Medicare and the Medicaid have negative numbers, which are the differences per call. Now, the other important thing to note that on a daily process, that every call that is processed is sent off to the billing company until they determine if there is insurance, which may require the patient sending in paperwork and so forth. It stays in that self-pay class. And once it's determined if it has the others, it is moved into those class. But for this period of time, for the 12-month period, of the people we transported, 30% are considered self-pay, 19% have insurance or had insurance, 27% were on Medicare, 24% were on Medicaid. In a comparison to Orange County, Seminole, Maitland, and Longwood, you can see across the board that we, as an urban core city with a larger inner core population, had a higher Medicaid mix. Our Medicare was not as high as across the board. While we're not the lowest with the insurance, we are pretty much one of the lowest or the highest in self-pay mix. So understanding the different breakdowns of what we're charging for, the different types and mixing in there produces the final numbers. So for the study period, again, we had an $18.2 million in gross billable transport. After doing the Medicaid and Medicare on a monthly amount, that leaves us 1.5 or 1.1 million in billable, net billable per month. The gross average of 18 divided by 12 is 1.5. Take out your Medicaid, you get the 1.1. In turn, we had $4.8 million deposited in the bank in this period of study. And that's an average of $400,000 per month on average being deposited into the city's EMS revenue. You know, it's also interesting to note that during this period of time, we've had to send off an additional $1.13 million to what we call the advanced collections. Those are any bills that nobody has responded to, over 3 invoices, or a lack of insurance information as far as nobody's made any payments or anything for 6 months or greater. So in bottom line, it looks like what we've done is we've tried to secure a general revenue of $400,000 plus a month on about a 1.1, and we hope that we're going to see some great improvements in the future as this matures out. Chief Miller?
You can see why I had Chief Hoggett handle all that, because it makes you a little bit dizzy. But the fact, let's go back to the second slide. Operationally and financially. It's really what it's all about. We said we were going to evaluate this, and that's what we did. So operationally, what we've done, you have 496 personnel, ISO #1 department, one of the top in the nation, providing excellent service, as you heard from a couple of our citizens here. And what we've done is added a higher level of service. We're now providing transport not only from the scene to the hospital, that continuity of patient care where you don't transfer off to somebody else, but you actually, that paramedic who is providing that initial care goes all the way into the hospital. He wants to make sure he maintains that care because he's delivering to a physician who's going to be asking the important questions about that patient's care. We already have our fire station apparatus deployed. It's more efficient. We're able to get to the scene. Again, the chap said she did 300 count. I was just sitting over here calculating, sorry. 300 would be about 3 minutes worth of CPR. 100 per minute, 3 minutes, we arrived, we took over. If you change the level of service, if you want to go less than the current level of service we provide, then she's going to be doing 400, 500, 600, and the level of care is going to change. So I have no doubt in your commitment and our commitment to the public safety and the citizens of Orlando. What I'm proud to tell you today is that the service that we provided, this operational and fiscal evaluation we did, in my eyes, has been extremely successful. I'm proud of the men and women of the Orlando Fire Department. I tell them every time I get the opportunity, I am amazed at their ability, because you can give us all the greatest equipment, the greatest fire stations, but the key is hiring people, hiring the key people that have what it takes right inside here, the heart, to give that level, to look them in the eye and say, I think it's going to be okay, and to provide the care that you need to. That's really what you're counting on. And you're counting on us, this administration, to give you the best advice to provide that service. And I think we hit a home run on this one. And sure, we'd like to have millions more in the bank, but I think we've done a fantastic job in order to help offset the taxpayers' costs to providing the service that we're already providing with our 496 personnel. So where do we go from here? We're asking you to continue the same model. We could ask you to transport all the citizens of Orlando, BLS, but I don't think it would be responsible time to do that. We're still evaluating. We don't know what the economy is going to do. We think it's going to turn around. We know that some insurance, medical is going to change over the next couple of years. We'd like to wait that out and evaluate that. The model is working perfectly. As you saw from those statistics, greater than 95% of the time we're getting there ahead of time.
It also gives us a level of redundancy to have a second operation that can, under some critical circumstance, have a second set of ambulances.
Yes, sir, absolutely. For example, with Rural Metro, not only do they provide us with the assistance of the 911 service with paramedics and EMTs, that redundancy, but they also do non-emergency transports throughout the city. They have ambulances going all the time that can infuse into our system should we get a mass casualty situation. And so we want to make sure we continue that model, that we can supplement ourselves anytime we need to in an emergency. Again, Chief Hogg had mentioned allowing the billing account to fully mature. We're just in our first year and a half of this thing. The accounts mature. As we get more insurance information, it's automatic. The billing happens quicker. The men and women, they're still working on the system, this electronic patient care reporting, and making sure that we're getting the right information to make sure we get 100% collection. So although we think we have it refined pretty well, there's always room for improvement. So we're going to see some improvements all the way through that. We're beginning the RFP process with your approval. We'll go ahead and do that for the ambulance provider service. And we're monitoring the call volumes. We're always monitoring what's going on and whether we need to adjust. Our rescue trucks don't just stay in the station. If they need to move up to make sure our deployment is right so that we can respond in a timely manner, that's what happens. And so we're always evaluating that. If at some point we need to add a rescue truck years down the road, that's what we'll do. We'll do what it takes to make sure we're providing that highest level of service. And, of course, that is the last bullet that I have there. Continue to provide the highest level of excellence to the citizens of Orlando. Any questions?
Chief, let me just say, I think it's a win-win. It's an enhanced service for our citizens, and it's the service we want to provide for our citizens, and then it's a revenue generator. That's $5 million more that is generated toward the general fund, towards your operation, that if we weren't doing the transport, and we're doing it pretty much within the same resources that we have. We added 3 rescue trucks, I guess, but beyond that, we're generating revenue, and we'll probably do even better in the revenue collection in years to come. So I see this as a complete win-win, and gosh, maybe we should have done this 10 years ago. That's probably the only question, right?
Sometimes the stars have to line up.
Yeah. Commissioner Lynham.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. Thank you, Chief. Aside from that health summit I just talked about, I go to every year. I'd rather be around firefighters. I prefer not being sick, but it is good to be sick with a lot of good-looking men around. When I was transported, and I thank God for all of them. I looked up, and they were so good-looking, I got well immediately. So I don't know how you... just telling you my story. But seriously, I think the services we provide, and we've always bragged about it, just made sense to go to the next level. And it makes sense to have a report after such a short time to show us in line with any other professional services, from billing to partnerships and collateral pieces that make the billing right, make the calls right, make your training correct, get everything lined up. I am 100% behind our moving forward. I just believe, Chief, that it's also going to get better as we move from the Medicaid and Medicare. I believe and I hope that people look at what is in their best interest. I believe the Affordable Health Care Act will help generate more dollars for us, for those people who have to pay their on. And people will not be foolish about what is in their best interest. We're here to help our constituents. You do a great job, but I hope the constituents would take into consideration of something of helping themselves too. So thank you very much. I thought the report was excellent.
Thank you. Commissioner Mings.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief and Chief. I just have one question, but first I'd like to say thanks again for a great presentation, and also thanks for the citizens' input, because that was very moving and it was good to hear that kind of story. And I'm sure you guys have already had the award ceremony and that kind of thing.
Well, actually, while I was out of town, they visited the station to personally recognize the crews, so they didn't want to wait any longer. They wanted to get over there and get over to the station.
Okay, even though it wasn't any, firehouse or station within my district, I still like to be invited to those things.
Yes, sir.
So if you guys can remember me. But Chief Hoggett, you mentioned something about HIPAA. So what do you mean that you had to incorporate HIPAA, and then what is HIPAA?
The Healthcare Initiative Portability Act, which was created years ago, was specifically dealt with entities who were billing in your personal health information, PHI, when it comes down to your Social Security number. Prior to us entering into the actual transport where we were charging, we were classified as a non-covered entity. While we always did the training to make sure that every patient's information is secured and not broadcast, leaked, or in any way that you hear the stories, as we entered into this, we now became a covered entity, so there was a lot more stringent training. But again, we had already taken that stringent level of training from the beginning, so it was not much that we had to do, but we did have to incorporate some policies and procedures to definitely be on the record that we have addressed those situations.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Deputy Chief. I appreciate it. I cannot tell you, and everybody I've spoken to around the city has been amazed at how quickly this has moved with us. And I think that your staff, the organization structure you put in there, the men and women on the front line have made this happen in such a way that I think that all of our citizens would be proud, so I appreciate that. We talked about some facts and figures. I want to make sure they kind of come out today a little bit when we spoke before. Roughly, we're bringing in about $4.8 million. The SAFER grant was about $4.6 million, if I remember correctly.
4.1. It was 8.3 for a 2-year.
But of the $4.8 million, that covers all of the costs that are coming in, and out of that, we're also the breakdown didn't. At least I don't think we showed me before, but the breakdown did include what the other administrative costs in there. In other words, we're not bringing in $4.8 million in excess revenue. There's some operational costs to this program, like collections and administration, that come out of the $4.8 million a year.
Yes, sir.
So the net amount that comes to us, if I remember correctly, is probably what, 3.1 million?
Yes, a little over $3 million after you pay for the billing services and the fleet and the replacement of vehicle call. We pay in advance for vehicles, so that's covered in that as well as supplies, oxygen, those kind of costs. But above and beyond that, we're generating the millions of dollars revenue, which just helps offset the overall cost of our general fund and the fire department.
I agree completely. I mean, part of the thinking was the SAFER grant would come in and we'd be able to have the generate the revenue up to that. And it looks like we're probably a little bit behind that curve, that we still have some time to make up that curve in the next year or two. I agree with Commissioner Lynham that I think that there's a great deal more potential in the numbers that we currently have, but they aren't there today, but it's also the first full year of operation as well.
The important thing to remember is that to provide the high level of service that we need for the citizens of Orlando, these 496 personnel are required. In all actuality, Mayor, under your direction, for efficiency's sake, we vacated 24 funded positions, and we don't have today. We technically should have 24 more positions, but with these 496, it's what it takes to provide the level of service, whether we did transport or did not do transport. And so that's the way I look at it is we've got to have the 496, and we've just generated $4.8 million or a little over $3 million clear to help offset that.
Yeah, and I agree, and that it's exactly my point is that we have through the SAFER grant and through some very creative ways to address this, we've done a wonderful job of being able to increase the level of service we have to our clients and help try to offset that cost. But we're not there 100%, which means that if this continues to go on, we have to raise a little bit of money to continue to keep those people staffed, which is, I think, as we heard today, is worth every dime we spend to accomplish that task. And so I want to make sure that we're kind of, there is a little bit of a gap still. We still have to work to make that gap up to bring us back to where we were prior to the SAFER grant, I think, is what I'm looking at, or what the SAFER grant did for us.
Sure, and again, it comes back to the minimum requirements to provide the level of service.
I agree, and I think it's, I would encourage the mayor, we need to find that $1.5 million, 1.1 million somehow, because this is too important for us to let dollars and cents get in the way. This is people's lives we're dealing with, and I appreciate so much what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, let me congratulate all of you, because what you do out there is invaluable. I mean, it has, what you guys have done, I mean, hearing from the story and hearing from the story in our community about the different instances where you guys have come and saved lives, literally saved lives. Plus the experience I had with you guys when I was in law enforcement, there's no way to compare. I know that you guys fall under certain rating in the nation. I would say you guys are number one. And I've been out there to different cities, and right now, as a matter of fact, I'm using you guys as a model with Puerto Rico and helping the firefighters in Puerto Rico because of what you guys do. So thank you so much for that. Going back and to help Commissioner Stewart on that, I know that we have collected $4.8 million. That's cash in hand. But there's still lots of money out there that have not been collected. So I don't think we're going to have a problem making what we need in order to cover for our firefighters and possibly make a revenue on top of that after we pay for all the expenses or whatnot. I just want to clarify that. And also another clarification I wanted to make is that when it says here on the chart that you showed us about agency pay class comparison, it shows the first 30% self-pay. You're referring to people that are not insured, right? That these are people who are paying out of pocket?
It's either that or they haven't been classified yet.
In either way.
Sometimes when the bill comes in and they haven't found out whether they have insurance or whether they're on Medicare or Medicaid, they might stay in that category for a while until it's sorted out, until they...
I just want to clarify that. And the other fact is that is money that is not necessarily collected because of the same set of circumstances.
Yes, with the billing company, they're constantly trying to collect those revenues, and then, of course, it does go to a collection agency after a certain point. So there is, but we just took the snapshot for the 1 year, but yes, there is that tail that continuously is collecting. Some people, are only opportunity to pay $50 a month or, pay it in payments versus paying it all at one time through a check.
Okay. Just to clarify things, I know that you guys gave us the monies at Medicaid and Medicare that is not collectible because of the rates that they pay. And then again, we have some other, about $1.1 million that are going into collections that we may get something back, we may not get anything back.
Yes.
And then taking back the cash in hand that we have, $4.8 million, we still have a little bit of money out there that have not been collected, not because it's not collectible, but it's because it have not passed the 60 days where it goes into collections. Am I correct?
The billing is for a 6-month period, and then it goes into collection. So everything, all of the money that unaccounted for is in that
period.
period.
So that's what we have not accounted for. So we may still have a much larger revenue.
Very well.
Okay.
But like I said, for this evaluation period, we wanted to give you that snapshot and not try to tell you what we possibly an extra 10, 20% that may be collected. We want to give you the facts, money in the bank, so you can be assured in the decision you make is a safe
Chief,
one.
When you came out with this program, you really hit it out of the park. That was great.
Well,
Thank
Commissioner,
you so much.
I'm going to tell you that, Deputy Chief Hoggett and Chief McCormick and the entire team, this doesn't happen just from one person. The entire team, and if it wasn't for the guys in the field, we cannot be successful. It's their commitment to, they could have all just sat back and said, you know what, this is too much. We're running too many calls. We're all these transports for 30, 45 minutes to the hospital. But they refused. Their pride in their organization in this city would not allow them to not be anything but extremely successful.
There is another partner that I want to make sure that we thank is Rural Metro. Chris, you're here. They have done such an excellent job. You guys have really been great partners, and we're very appreciative. So thank you.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Rural Metro, I mean, they realized they want to be part of the success of the Orlando Fire Department. They were already doing it for 27 or 29 years. They understood the dynamic that we're ready to provide that higher level of service, and they definitely partnered up very well with us.
I'm sure they're helping the community more than one way, because I know they have done some other things, not only for our communities here, but out of other communities out of this country, and we're very thankful for that. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. As I look at the statistics, one of the challenge, there's so many good things. One of the challenge here, I think, if I'm reading it right, is close to half of our reimbursables coming from the federal government. We're probably not even collecting our costs. Would that be a fair statement, based on the reimbursables?
Well, I think we are. I think
Okay.
we are. I mean, I'm just talking about supplies and things like that. Now you're talking about man hours and equipment and depreciation, wear tear. No, of course
So-
it's a service-driven industry, and
Sure, absolutely. So here's the open question, I guess, for the whole group. Is there anything we can do as a city to work that angle with the federal government to perhaps increase those reimbursables? Have we explored those? And again, it's an open question to everybody. Because that's
Greg,
half of your service you're providing is...
regional.
The Medicaid and Medicare is region-driven, as Chief Miller just said, that by different areas of the country based upon demographics and so forth. California is higher than what we receive here. Kansas would be lower because of the narrows. There's super rurals. There's all these different things. It comes down to right now is the country is suffering from an economic setback. So governments are trying to look where they can to cut, and then when they cut on those aspects, the reimbursables, that forces us to come to you and say, this is our cost. As Chief Miller said, that we need 496 people for optimum service to provide in the city of Orlando. We need that to provide, whether or not we don't worry about the insurance on the beginning. We worry about the patient. Mm-hmm. It's afterwards that if we're able to recover, that's great, but, a life saved is a life saved. So on the political side in the arena, whether through the state legislature, you see Medicaid, Medicare being talked about constantly, and on the federal level, well, we have constituency groups, the American Ambulance Service, we have the International Fire Chiefs that are all looking at these things and providing input. Ultimately, it comes down to you, the elected officials, in both the local, the state, and the federal level that are going to decide how that is. And when the feds stop kicking down, that means we have to pick up the cost on the local level. So I don't know what else more we can do, sir, at that point, but just make our facts known as any other city across the country is trying to do.
Right. Thank you.
Chief, do we have any way to know what the percentage of residents versus non-residents are that are transported?
We can probably query that, but really based on the address
Because we
of
have
the call
both
we went
tourism
to.
and people that drive in from
We haven't been
Leesburg
measured-
and work in
Sure.
Orlando and are going to get transported.
You could provide that breakdown if you'd like.
It's just
It would only be as accurate as the address they give us as their residence, not necessarily the call
well,
you
half
receive.
of those addresses that are unincorporated Orange County say Orlando anyways,
Yes,
if you're simply using
well,
that.
we could do zip codes maybe and try to work those numbers, but that's
Don't spend a whole lot of time on it. It's
Yeah, it's
just
just
something I was interested
I think
in.
the clear thing to take from that pay class comparison is, the city of Orlando is a downtown urban core that's a metropolitan city that, we're obviously going to have the more diverse population, and so it's an indication where you look at it, a Longwood or Winter Park or a Maitland, it's a little bit of a different dimension there. So we want to provide the highest level to all citizens in Orlando, and I think we do that.
Great presentation, Chief. Steve, you or any of your team want to? Yeah, I got you on the phone there. Anybody want to say anything? Come on up.
He's
you
never
generally
lost-
not
never
at a
lost
loss
for
for
words.
words, right?
No.
Speak on behalf of the men and the women out on the rescues.
I just want to say we've all come along. This has been a long journey from where we were, and I want to give credit to Chief Miller. I mean, this program is something that I think we've worked seamlessly. We've all been in agreement, and when we work together, we can do amazing things. We've worked with Rural Metro. I mean, this was a big project on our side, and there was a lot at risk, and so we were thrilled to death. We were with Chief All this morning, and this is the first we heard of it this morning also. So we're all pretty proud to be part of it. So thanks.
Great. Thank you. And Rick and Jennifer, thank you for being here today. And Rick, we're especially glad that you are here today. Chief?
Thank you.
You want to close?
If I could just say that, Rick and Jennifer, thank you very much, because it's not often that we get the acknowledgement that, it's busy lives and people get busy and move on, but for them to actually go to Station 6 and really want to make sure, and then when they heard about our presentation, they said, no, we're going to be there. And you heard their involvement. Now they're going to try and teach CPR and really be an advocate for the fire department and the public. So we're appreciative of that. And thank you all for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
That concludes the official business of the Orlando City Council today. Thank you for joining us.
No appearances.
And actually,